Good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to Zimbabwe Daily. My name is Yvonne, and on the program today we are talking about gender-based violence in workspaces. What does it even mean? Does sexual harassment in the workplace happen? What nature does it take? Is it a myth? Is it a reality? And I've invited two experts in the studio who are going to take us through gender-based violence in the workplaces as we commemorate 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. This is day 7. Join me after this short break. Right, welcome back once again to all of you who are joining us. We're coming to you live from our Zim Daily Studios. Feel free to interact with us if you've got any questions, any comments, any contributions. Do feel free to get in touch via our WhatsApp platform. If you go on our website, www.zimdaily.com, you'll be able to interact with us via WhatsApp. If you want to do so via this platform, please do feel free to write your comments in the comment section. My name is Yvonne, and let me introduce to you my guests in the studio. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Right, I'll start with you, Mai Katumba. Introduce yourself, introduce your role, and let's know who you are.
Morning, everybody. My name is Fiona Katumba. I'm the chairperson of the Women's Committee of Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions. Also, I'm the president of the National Union of the Clothing Industry.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for joining us, Mama.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Right, over to you, Fiona.
Thank you, Yvonne. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Zimbabwe. My name is Fiona and Mai. I'm the gender specialist and the head of the Education and Training Department of the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions. I'm pleased to talk to you all today.
Wonderful. I'm so honored to have these wonderful ladies because they're just going to enlighten us a little bit on what gender-based violence looks like in the workplace. I'll start with you, Mama. What is your understanding of sexual harassment in the workplace?
My understanding in the workplace on sexual harassment is that from the experience I have, I saw most of the women being harassed, mostly with the bosses in the workplace because of promotions or else because of getting place in the workplace. So it's a reality that gender-based violence is there in the workplace. Yeah.
All right. And you, Fiona, what kind of reports do we have? Are we having any reports of this sexual harassment, or it's something that is spoken about in the books and practically not?
Well, Yvonne, sexual harassment is a reality because we have reports almost every day at the ZCTU. We have reports of women being sexually harassed by their bosses. They are being touched where they don't want to be touched, and sometimes they are asked to have a sexual relation with the boss in order to get a promotion or in order to get certain benefits at work. We have also got some young men that are equally suffering sexual harassment from their bosses as well. So it happens, it's a reality, and the most vulnerable workers are the women, the people with disabilities, and the people that are elderly, and they're also very vulnerable. So it is a reality. We do have reports every day.
But what informs this, what informs this phenomenon? You know, in the workplace, I thought people were coming in order to, make themselves useful in terms of being active economically and stuff like that. So what is it that then drives somebody to want to harass somebody? Are they aware that they are harassing a fellow workmate?
What drives this sexual harassment in the workplace is a power issue. It's to do with power relations. And sometimes a person who is more powerful, either economically or in terms of authority at the workplace, can violate you because they do have the power to do so. And sometimes it's just out of sheer greediness, and some people are just naturally, they don't want to survive without harassing other people. They are sexually greedy. They want to satisfy their own sexual ego by harassing other people. So most of the time, they take advantage of the weaker party. That's why I said it's a power issue, really.
Wow, that's no, it's actually quite disturbing because I've also you've spoken about power relations, and I want to understand what kind of power relations these are, because I'm sure from what I've also read, there are some female directors or male directors who have also been harassed at their levels. Is this something that is happening? I mean, is this still a power issue or it's something else?
Yes, it is. I don't know if Miriam wants to talk about it. As a leader, as a woman leader.
I mean, who is mostly affected by this? Is it the male? Is it the female? Who is like the percentages, percentage-wise? Is it the females who are mostly affected by this? Because I think because of the patriarchal nature of our societies, men really want to show that, okay, fine, you call yourself who? The COO in this, I want to show you who we are as men. I mean, I've heard people raise those issues, like if it's a woman, it's a strong-willed woman who's speaking. They want to look for other avenues to get to her. So I was asking if powerful women as well are affected by sexual harassment in their workplace.
Yes, let me come in and say powerful women are equally harassed. We have a specific case study where we had a lady that was a member of the Zimbabwe Banks in the Allied Workers Union. She was the vice president of that union, and the moment she was elected to that position, she started suffering even at the workplace. Apart from being victimized as a woman leader, she was equally sexually harassed. And we also have other examples of powerful women that were in management positions or supervisory positions, especially in the Department of Taxes, that approached us and they were being harassed. And we had to refer the case to the Zimbabwe Gender Commission. And this is a sure sign that powerful women equally get harassed. Let me say, in terms of statistics, 1 in every 3 women is suffering sexual and gender-based violence at one point in their lives. So that's quite a high percentage. And women are the highest victims because of our culture. Women are considered to be sexual toys, which is perpetrated by the fact that our culture has taken women as subordinates to men. Yes.
And Mama Mai Katumba, maybe you can also highlight. I think I went into sexual harassment as a common, form of violations that are taking place in the workplaces. Maybe you can also highlight some of the gender-based violations that are taking place, in our industries. You mentioned that you lead another union in the cotton industry. Maybe you can highlight some of the aspects that you notice as gender-based violations of people in that field.
Thank you, Yvonne. Some of the aspects I noticed, it's like a woman can be in a relation with a boss, not knowing that she is being harassed. But when the time comes when that boss tries to remove her away and start to get another relationship with someone, that's when she can realize that the boss is harassing me because he wanted to be in love with me, but they were in love. By that time, she was not knowing that she was harassed. That's what I have noticed from the industries. And also, I've noticed that, giving the example like what Fiona was saying, we have another lady, again from the banking sector. The boss wanted to be in a relation with her. When she refused, she was transferred from Harare to Kirezi to a rural place from here. Yes, because she refused to be sexually harassed.
Wow, so those are some of the forms of violations that are taking place in the industry. It's like, you don't want to be in a relationship with me, so I'm going to move you because I'm the boss. Yeah, like I think what Fiona said, like power relations, I want to show you my power. So you guys, if you don't want to be in a relationship with me, then you can go elsewhere. All right, so we're just going to take a short break, and when we come back, we continue with this conversation around gender-based violence in the workplaces. Join us after this break. All right, welcome back once again. This is Zimbabwe Daily. We're on day 7 as we commemorate 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And we are joined in the studio by Mai Katumba and Fiona, who are coming through to us from the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Union. We want to know a little bit more about gender-based violence in the workplace. Is it a myth or is it a reality? And I think the very first segment we were looking at the types of gender-based violence that is taking place in the workplaces. We've heard about sexual harassment, which is the major form of violation that is taking place. We've also heard about the different power struggles that take place in the workplace. If you don't agree with the boss, then you must move, will punish you somehow. So we want to continue with this conversation, with these conversations, and we want to move on and ask this question: how do I know that I'm being sexually harassed?
Oh, thank you, Yvonne. When I'm being sexually harassed, you are supposed to know if you are being touched in places where you don't feel comfortable to be touched by anyone. There is a place where only a person who is intimate with you can touch you, and no other person can touch you in that place. So if that is happening to you, you're supposed to immediately know that it is sexual harassment. It's unacceptable behavior that takes place, and it traumatizes you. And if someone says words that are derogatory, that are degrading to your being, that define you or describe you sexually, that is also sexual harassment. And if anyone asks for direct sexual favors and you say no, and that person persists, that is sexual harassment. And if also somebody sends you some pornographic videos and you don't like that, that is sexual harassment. And you are supposed to tell the person that you don't like this behavior. Yes.
All right. And if I tell the person and they still continue, what's my reprieve? Where do I go? Where do I go?
Maybe I will start with the workplace. If it happens when I'm at the workplace, I have to take measures. I report to the workers' committee or to the HR. Yes. If they don't satisfy me the way they handle the issue, then I can go to the trade union.
I see.
I will report also to the trade union. From the trade union, I will go to the gender specialist, which is Fiona,
Okay,
and she knows where to go with my issue.
right.
Yes.
So in other words, in our organizations, the human resources personnel should be equipped to know how to handle issues of sexual harassment. Are these personalities, are these personnel trained to handle sexual harassment?
They are supposed to be trained. Some companies do train, and actually the Human Resources Department is the one that organizes such trainings. So they, as people that deal directly with human relations, they need to be trained in terms of sexual harassment in the workplace. But what we have done also is a trade union federation. We have also trained gender-based violence focal persons for all our affiliates. So in our affiliates, we have people that have been trained that know how to handle gender-based violence. And we also have shop stewards at the workplace that are trained by the trade union. These shop stewards are also capacitated in terms of how to deal with cases of violence and harassment. So a person can equally report to a shop steward or members of the workers' committee. They are equally able to assist so that the internal process can take place of disciplining the perpetrator. But according to the Labour Act, you can also report directly to the police if you are sexually harassed. And when it comes to the ZCTU, we can then take it high up in terms of going to the courts and also going to the Zimbabwe Gender Commission. Yes.
Wow, okay, so there are those mechanisms that one has to know when they join an organization, what is the gender policy, what is the policy on sexual harassment in that organization, what information you need as you enter, you are inducted and all of that. The human resources personnel must also be equipped in order for them to know how to handle sexual harassment in the workplaces or gender-based violations in the workplaces. Like I said, we are coming to you live from Zim Daily Studios, and in the studio we do have the experts coming in from the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions with Mai Katumba and Fiona in the studio. I hope the discussion is helpful, because at the end of the day we want to make sure that our communities are equipped enough. Gender-based violence is a reality, and as it is happening and as it is affecting all of us, we need to know how to handle it. Join me again after a short break as we go into our third and last segment of this discussion. All right, welcome once again. This is Zim Daily. We are coming to you day 7 of our 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. I hope you're following and you're also hearing what we are saying. Right, so I want to now come through and say, how can government come through in order to facilitate for this kind of conversation around gender-based violence in the workplaces, and how can we, prevent? At the end of the day, we want to build our economies, we want to build our nation, but clearly, as you have highlighted, gender-based violence in the workplace is a clear detriment to development.
Thank you, Yvonne. The government can also facilitate dialogue with the social partners at the tripartite negotiating level. And the Ministry of Women's Affairs already has linkages with the civil society reference groups, which ZCTU is equally part of. I sit on that platform. And we can also continue with this dialogue at that level so that we can find out exactly what the strategies are that we can take as a country in order to combat violence and harassment.
Mm.
And the government can actually ratify Convention 190 on violence and harassment, which is a measure that will enable us as a country to strengthen our already existing legislation on violence and harassment with the provisions that are in the convention, which was launched in 2019 by the ILO. This is a big step that Zimbabwe government can take. And the dialogue can continue as we give specific vulnerable sectors. We identify those sectors that are more vulnerable, and then we put protective measures in the legislation to protect those workers.
All right. Maybe I can draw us back a little bit as we continue into the sustainable ways of dealing with GBV, especially in the workplaces. I want to know, in terms of productivity and the work ethic and everything, how GBV affects the work output. Yeah. How does it affect the person? Like, why is it even an issue?
Thank you, Yvonne.
Mm.
On that one, I can say it normally affects if I am me, like Miriam Katumba, and the boss is harassing me, sexually harassing me, and I don't like what he's doing to me. It will not motivate me. I'll be demoralized to be at work, and I will not do the way I must do my work.
You're afraid of dressing the way you want to dress because somebody is checking.
I'll be not feeling free when I go to work.
Yeah.
Maybe it will make me even not go to work. Because I'll be thinking, if I go to work, that boss is going to harass me. What will be my position when I'm there? And I'll be not enjoying going to work because of that. So if I don't go to work, or if I go to work and not work in the normal way, it will reduce the production.
Yeah.
And also maybe that boss, if I'm in love with him, he will be like, you'll be like playing with me, and you'll be not even chasing me to do the work, because we are in love. You will just look at me whilst I'm not doing the work in the right way, whilst I'm not producing the work and the targets which are wanted by the company. So it will reduce the production in a most way.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that point, because I realize that a lot of times people don't actually realize that there are psychological as well as production effects to everything that we do. So if I'm a married woman and my boss is sexually harassing me, it affects even my home. It affects how I am when I come into work. And Fiona, I love the fact that you said that as a country we need to ratify some of the conventions that are already there, because the precedent is there. The discussions around gender-based violence have been ongoing for years, and now we're still talking about it. So something is definitely not right. Most workplaces do have the GBV policy, and most of them have taken the nationally ratified laws and placed them, as part of their policies at the workplace. But we continue to have the challenges, like you say, on a daily basis. We have reports. So who needs to get involved so that this scourge can stop?
I think all of us need to get involved. Violence and harassment is an issue that affects all of us. We need to sensitize the communities as well, because people in the communities, they equally suffer sexual and gender-based violence one way or the other. We need to sensitize the workers, because sexual harassment is very rife in the workplace. And we need to involve all our leaders, the political leaders, the community leaders, the traditional leaders. Everyone needs to get involved. And somebody needs to lead the process, which is the reason why I also identified civic society organizations, trade unions, as well as the relevant ministries, like the Ministry of Women's Affairs. We can collaborate together. We can make a difference together.
Right. And as the ZCTU, you have launched the 16 days of activism. What are we expecting?
We have launched the 16 days of activism. Shortly, we will see the road shows that we have planned being done by the young people within the ZCTU, as well as the key statements from the Women's Committee, as well as the Young Workers Committee. They will address the nation. Unfortunately, we are not able to gather because of COVID-19, but we are used to normally gathering and celebrating. So this time, we'll do most of our campaigns virtually. And also, we have got a theme that we have launched, which says, stop gender-based violence and embrace diversity, inclusion, and the spirit of Ubuntu. So that's the ZCTU theme for the 16 days of activism.
Right, and as we close, maybe your last words to our viewers who joined us or joining us today. Any last words that you want to say as we commemorate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence?
Thank you. As we commemorate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, I can say, let's walk the talk together as a nation. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Very brief and straight to the point. Yes. Yes.
I just want to encourage everyone in Zimbabwe, let us walk the talk, as our chairperson has said, and let us collaborate, let us work together, let us speak with one voice, let us fight the common enemy, which is gender-based violence. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much, Fiona. Thank you so much, Mama, for coming to the studio and having this conversation with us. I do hope what we were talking about has hit where it's supposed to hit. Even in Itinebasa, we all have a responsibility to end gender-based violence. Hansi, let us walk the talk, right? So we are walking the talk, right? Are we going to do that? I hope so, because we all have a responsibility, right from the government, right into your home. You have a responsibility to protect each and everyone who is around you. My name is Yvonne. Thank you so much for joining us on day 7 as we commemorate 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Have a blessed